come on over. Get in here. Looks like we're live, everybody.
Hi.
It's Chris and
Kim
Chisholm, Wolf Camp and the Conservation College here at Blue Sky Farm. And this is day 14 of our live broadcasts. Thinking at virtual workshops once this whole social distancing thing is over. And we have it up on YouTube. We've been working on getting them all up onto YouTube, and so we can't always broadcast live to YouTube because we're going to be out in the field following the trails of animals and other things. And I think the way ours is set up, we have to be connected to Wi-Fi. We'll try it, but we'll see. Anyways, so today we're going to finish up that herbal salve that Kim started on Friday, and we're going to show you first time ever. We've done this in workshops before, but definitely have never put this out on the internet.
Yes, very lucky,
Kim's
everyone.
special herbal homemade deodorant. And this is super important for those of us who are stuck at home. Anyways, and then finish up with the song, and we're also going to take requests of anybody who wants to post on the comments of suggestions that you want, of what you want to do coming in the future. This is a recipe that Kim perfected,
I'm not going to start with this.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Okay.
Yeah, and again, make your comments, the suggestions of what you'd like us to do in the future. And it could be. I'll go check it. Okay. And then also make sure that if your area, your hospitals and first responders need PPE, try to get a drive going on your neighborhood websites and get somebody that can pick up and drop those off hygienically, drop those off the hospital as whatever it is that they say that they need. Here in Puyallup, our hospital is currently okay, but they are prepared to set up tents and things like that in the garage if things get bad.
Yeah, so if you have packaged material that's unopened, that's going to be what they'll need first, and hopefully they don't get desperate enough to need anything else, but we'll see.
And if you still have income and money, go ahead and support your local businesses. Doing takeout, and as well as you can click the donation link here so we can keep our springtime administrative employees on the payroll up until summer camp starts, and everybody can hopefully get going back to normal by that time. All right, I'll turn it over to Kim.
Okay, we might need to switch the angles.
Yeah, I'll work that for you.
Okay, so the other day we started an herbal oil, so that we're going to transition that into an herbal salve. And so the way that we did the oil was we took the herbs that we were interested in this particular case, we used plantain, calendula. The plantain we harvested out of the yard and we wilted it to get the water out of it. We used calendula that I grew here, and it was already dried from last fall. And then we used some cottonwood buds.
Did it make any difference?
Yes, that was great. That's much better.
Do it again?
No, it's good.
Right,
it's done. Use some cottonwood buds that we harvested locally at the park when the wind knocked a branch down and the buds were up off the ground, easy to harvest, and put them in here as well. It smells fantastic. This is exactly what you want. And I've been keeping this on low heat all of our waking hours on our stove in a double boiler. So the next step is we need to strain out the plant material, because any plant material that's left in it is going to cause our herbal oil and eventually our salve to spoil faster. So there's many different ways that you can strain out your herbal oil. Well, it's okay. Many different things that you can use to strain out your herbal oil. A lot of people like to use cheesecloth. Cheesecloth drives me crazy, but that's just a personal thing. And so I have some. And I also like to use jelly strainer bags. They work really, really well. You can also get the nut milk bags. Those work too. So today I'm just going to use the jelly strainer bags. That's my favorite.
Go leave it because
that's fine. So I like to use a Pyrex cup with a little pour spout because it's easier to deal with. So I'm going to put my jelly strainer bag. Can you just hold this for me? There, jelly strainer bag. And my oil has been heating at a super low temperature, so I can touch it and it doesn't burn me at all. It's wonderful. So just a mild temperature. So I'm going to just pour this in here. And you can compost the plant material that's left over. Probably should have used a bigger Pyrex. Well, that's okay. It's okay. I got it. We'll trade. Okay, so I want to get as much oil out of here as I can, but I don't want to squeeze it super, super hard, because if I squeeze it super, super hard, I'm going to start squeezing plant material out. Remember that plant material makes oil faster. So I'm just going to give it a little squeeze like that. And we are going to call that good. That is really full. I might change my mind with this. Okay. So I think what we're gonna do, can you get me another bowl?
What do you want me to
I'm gonna just pour some of this out. Actually, I'm gonna take this. I don't have it. Oh, it's all right. So I'm just gonna pour some of this out so that my container isn't as full as it is, which is great because I'm gonna have some oil that's left over that I can do a lot of different things with. And in fact, I could even use this when I make my, I should use it.
Yes.
Yes, I can. So we're going to set that aside. Okay. So actually, I'm going to pour it a little bit more. All right. So we've got this beautiful herbal oil. Now what we need to do again is heat it up a little bit more because we're going to have to melt something in it, a wax that's going to make this solidify. The reason that we want to have a wax in it to solidify it is so that we can actually pack this medicine with us when we go out on a hike or we go to the store or we go anywhere. You can keep it in your first aid kit in your car or in your house. So I'm going to put this on my stove, double boiler. I've actually got a little metal ring that's going to sit on in the water. I'm going to heat it up. And as soon as it gets nice and warm, I'm going to add some beeswax to it. Now, there's a couple different kinds of wax that you can use if you're vegan. Uh-oh. Sorry, that's my phone ringing.
I guess we have to figure out. By the way, anybody that knows how to get Facebook Live to not cut out when a phone call comes in, please make a comment on there. I guess I should have Googled that and figured it out.
Anyway, so this is beeswax. It's already in these little pearl-sized beads, which makes it melt really, really fast. Sometimes you get beeswax in big chunks. These actually aren't that big because they've been cut down quite a bit. But if you get a really, really big chunk of beeswax and you want to find a really fast way to melt it, all you do, if you want to be a little dangerous, is you take your knife and you shave off little pieces. But if you don't want to be as dangerous, a handy veggie peeler. So you just use your veggie peeler to shave off bits of that beeswax so it's a little bit smaller so it'll melt faster. So as soon as the oil is heated up a little bit more, I'm going to put that beeswax in it. Now the proportion that you want is 1 to 4. So that is, I guess it's 4 parts oil, 1 part beeswax. If you think about it in terms of a cup, if you got a cup of oil, you're going to want about 1/4 of a cup of beeswax, give or take. So if it's summertime and it's super hot and it's going to melt really, really easily, put in a little bit more. If it's wintertime and it's cold and it's going to be really, really too firm for you, add in a little bit less. Now, if you make it and you don't like the amount of beeswax that you put in it, guess what? You can just melt that puppy right back again and add some more beeswax, or you can add more oil to it, or you can add a different kind of oil to it because it is yours to do with as you please. So let's see. Looks like we got about 2/3 of the cup. So I was going to use about 1/4 cup. We'll use a little bit less than that. Got our little pearl beads in here. We'll dump this in. And we'll just let it heat away. A little stir here. All right. So while that is melting, we're going to move on to one of my very favorite things ever. So this is homemade deodorant. Now, the reason I decided to start making deodorant is because I used to go to the store and I would read the ingredients and they all had aluminum in them. And aluminum has been known to be a cancer-causing agent, and sticking it right here next to right here, you probably don't want to do that. Plus, it had a lot of other things in it, and I didn't know what they were, if they were good for you or not. And so I started trying to find something that was a little bit more natural. So I tried the different deodorants that are at the store, a lot of different brands. I even tried the little crystal stick thing. They didn't work for me. And I'll tell you, I don't want to be stinky. So I did a bunch of research online, and I came across a website that was called crunchybetty.com. And so she always advertised that you could, any of the things that you made, you should be able to eat them or put them on your face. And I thought, well, that's really brilliant. Not that I want to eat my deodorant, but it seems safe, something that I could eat. So I took some of the information that she had on there, which was great. So this was borrowed from her, and this is how I make it. So yeah, I'll borrow this. You can model it. I can model it. All right, if everybody can read this. Here are, we'll do each one. They're all, it's going to be backwards. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I can turn it around.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Anyway.
Hold it up, though, for the YouTube. All right. It's fine.
For YouTube, it's fine. No, it's fine.
And I'll switch around. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'll have to learn how to write this in a mirror. Maybe we'll post it down below.
I'll bring a mirror out.
We'll post it down below. I didn't even think of it. But it's really, really easy. So all you need is 6 tablespoons. Hey, husband, will you get in the refrigerator is the one I made earlier today to show.
Okay.
If you bring that would be great. Okay, so all you need is 6 tablespoons of coconut oil. I like to use the Kirkland Organic Massive Monster. So you can eat out of it. You can use it on your hands. People use it on their hair. I don't do that, but some people do. And you can use it for your deodorant. It's fantastic. So I've already measured out 6 tablespoons of my coconut oil, and you put it in a pot. As easy as that. Okay, next, you need 3 tablespoons of some other kind of oil. And lucky us, normally I like to use jojoba. You can use sweet almond oil. You can use any oil that you like that works well for your skin. But today, we are going to add 3 tablespoons of this. It's our plantain, calendula, cottonwood, infused olive oil. So you can use any infused oil you want. Isn't that great? Love it. Okay. So we've got that in there. And then what we're going to do is we are going to put that on the stove and we're going to heat that up. Now it gets really, really simple from there. Once that heats up, you're going to take it off of the stove and, remove it from the heat. And you're going to add, if you want, some essential oil. Now, I like to add the citrusy essential oil because I think it smells fantastic. And sweet orange is my favorite. It smells like orange frosting and it looks like it too. But don't be tempted to taste it because it would taste terrible because of the other things we're going to add. But anyway, remove from heat. If you want to add essential oil, less than or equal to 20 drops. No more than that. Be really, really careful because that stuff can be really hardcore. Some other people like to add lavender. Some people like to do tea tree. I'm not a tea tree oil fan, but whatever works for you. I guess it kills the bacteria easier or something like that. So anyway, I do the sweet orange. Sometimes I'll do lime or lemon and grapefruit, and those smell super fantastic. So once that melts, you just add your 20 drops at the very most of essential oil, and then you take your dry ingredients. And the 2 dry ingredients, think about how much deodorant you could make with this massive monster right here at Costco. Oh yeah. So your 2 dry ingredients are Arm & Hammer baking soda and arrowroot powder. Sometimes it's called arrowroot starch or flour. I just get the Bob's Red Mill. I get it at Fred Meyer. You can get it online. You can get it at a bunch of different stores and such. But these are your 2 ingredients and all that you need. 1/4 of a cup of your baking soda and 1/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of your arrowroot powder. So once you've taken your oils off of the stove, you put your essential oil in it, stir it up. You add your dry ingredients, stir them up, and this is not pancake batter, so you can stir until it gets really, really well mixed. And once it's all mixed up, then I like to pour it in one of these jars. This is just one of the little pint canning jars. Just pour it in one of these jars, and I put it in the refrigerator with a spoon in it. And the reason that I do that is because, and I set my timer for about 15-minute intervals. So in 15 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stir it up just a little bit, put it back in. 15 minutes later, I'll come back, stir it up just a little bit, put it back in. After doing that a couple of times, you'll notice that it's starting to thicken. As it thickens, it separates just a tiny little bit, and your coconut oil rises up to the top, and all the dry stuff, it's moist at that time, but the powdery stuff goes down to the bottom, and you don't want that to happen. You want it to stay mixed up. So just stir, and then you will finally end up with something beautiful like this. And it smells fantastic. Let's get it really close. It is so good. Now, thing to know about this. When you make this, it has the baking soda in it, which is just a little bit abrasive. So, if you are a jogger or if you are an underarm shaver, I would not recommend that you put this on right after shaving your underarms and then going jogging, because this action right here is going to make your underarms kind of rough or kind of sore. So If you are shaving and going jogging, just use some straight up coconut oil and that's it. Call it good. Or if you have one of those little crystal stick things, you could crystal stick it and then put the coconut oil on it. That'll work just fine until you've had a chance to heal just a little bit from the shaving. Now, when you switch to a natural deodorant, and I'll tell you this is perfect for this physical distancing that we're doing, because when you switch to a natural deodorant, all the pores in your body that were blocked by the deodorant antiperspirant that you've previously been using, because yes, that's what they do. They actually block your pores. They lock those toxins in there. Kind of nasty when you think about it. But by using something like this, you are setting them free to do the job that they're supposed to do. You're letting them release the toxins like they're supposed to. But that means that at the very beginning, when you first start setting that stuff free, there's going to be a little bit more of a smell to it. So you're going to have to keep that in mind. And for the first maybe a week or two, actually for me, it wasn't even a week. It was actually great. But some people, it could be a week or two. I don't know. Everybody's different.
I was good right away.
You were good right away? Okay, well, Chris was good right away. He might be good right away. But just know, don't give up on it. That's the thing. People always complain about, oh, it's not working for me. But you got to give it 2 weeks. So make sure to do that before you give up on it. I don't think there's anything else I want to say about it. Oh, yes. So some people love those little deodorant containers with a little screw on it, and you screw it and it comes up. Well, those don't work very well with this stuff. And the reason is that when the temperatures heat up, this gets really, really soft. That's why I put it in these jars so that it seals in and doesn't spill at all. You can put it in any kind of container that you want, but this is really, really easy. Now, some people say, oh my gosh, how do I put it on then? Well, finger. Stick it in. Actually, this is really hard because it's been in the refrigerator. Once you've refrigerated it and it's solidified, all mixed up really well, take it out, just store it at room temperature, and it softens up enough to really easily use. But anyway, finger, stick it in it, get a nice big blob on it. Should I do it?
No. I think they can figure it out.
You can figure it out. Anyway.
Everybody's like, do it. If we were at camp, they would be yelling.
I would totally do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
This is just a workshop. It's not a virtual camp.
Just a workshop.
Even though I am singing at the end. Can I show everybody the recipe?
Yeah, please,
okay.
Please,
all right.
So, oh my
check
gosh.
This. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Okay, for the middle it works.
Oh, the middle it works. Okay, well, anyway, let me read. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I can do 2 at a time. I'll do Kim's phone, the Wolf Camp one.
That's cool.
So 6 tablespoons coconut oil, rounded to 6 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons liquid oil, jojoba, sweet almond, avocado. Thank you, jojoba. 1/4 cup baking soda. 1/4 cup. I'm going to switch over to this one to where the Wolf Camp Facebook Live can see it. Sorry, too. Personal. Yeah, well, that's okay. YouTube can see it also.
I can type it down below.
1/4 cup plus of 2 tablespoons, plus 2 tablespoons of arrowroot powder, 20 drops essential oil, optional, but no more than 20 drops. Sweet orange or lime and lavender, whatever you like. Yeah, and should I read the bottom?
No, I mean, okay. I pretty much said it, and I can put it at the bottom.
That's just kind of the steps, which you can reverse this video, go back and watch it on the wolfcollege.com website under the blog to replay it again, or on one of the sites you're seeing it right now.
Okay, so back to our salve. So the beeswax is melting nicely, and it should be pretty much melted in just a second. Now, people always wonder, how in the world do I tell if this has got enough beeswax in it while it's sitting here all liquid? Well, you take something metal, it's nice and cold, especially today outside, and you put a few drops of your oil with the beeswax melting in it on the back of your metal item. In this case, it's a spoon. You can use a measuring cup, and give it just a couple of seconds. It will harden up. You can see starting to harden up on there. If you can see it or not. Yeah. So then you can just touch it and see if it's as hard as you would like it to be. Pretty cool, huh? And if it is indeed as hard as you'd like it to be, you can take it off of the stove and pour it into whatever container you want to use. If it's not, add more beeswax. If it's too hard, add more oil. Super easy. Now, at camp, we like to use these little tiny containers for our salves, and we buy these at a company called Specialty Bottle in Seattle, but there are a lot of places that offer
that's wholesale.
No, I think regular people can buy them too.
Under a certain amount. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, but there's a lot of places where you can get things like that. But in this particular instance, I'm just going to pour it into a big jar because it is all for me, and it smells fantastic with that, with all the cottonwood buds in it.
Mm.
Trying to think of one last thing that I definitely don't want to forget. Sorry, I keep adding things to this for you. But something that's really, really important is sometimes people have allergies to things. Now, when you make an oil or you make a salve or you make anything that you're going to be putting on your skin, and if you're going to give it to somebody else or even use it for the first time yourself, what you want to do is you always want to take a little bit of it and rub it on the inside of your arm. Pull your sleeve down and wait for a day before you smear it all over your face or any place else like that. Because if you were allergic to it, you would much rather find out here than find out here. So put a little bit on your arm, wait for just 24 hours, wait till the next day, and check it out. If it looks good, then you're good to go. So I'm just going to take this off of the stove here, pour it in my jar.
Okay, is there anything else that you have to do for the salve or deodorant other than?
No. One other comment though, before you pour it out, just wipe the outside of your jar off or your the thing that your container that you've been using to heat your beeswax with, because you don't want to accidentally pour any of that water into your storage container. So I'm just going to pour that in. Now, some people ask how long does this last, and generally speaking, it's going to last for about a year, but you want to let your nose be your guide. So just give it a sniff. If it smells like the oil is starting to go rancid or there's something wrong with it, just scoop it out of your container, get rid of it, and make some more. Super easy. And then share it with your friends. Do you want me to talk about the woolly bear that I found?
Well, I will. What I will mention is that Kim just thought of a great new broadcast idea, which is yard bugs.
Oh, yeah.
Kim is big into, I don't know if you know this, but big into epidemiology research, but also one of her other favorite hobbies is bugs, entomology. And let's save it for another day, though.
But I hate to keep it.
Okay. Well, this is a preview of one of the days we're going to do spiders, slugs, snails, caterpillars, all sorts of stuff.
So I'm going to let this guy go, but I was totally psyched to look across my driveway and see this little woolly bear. You can see him there crawling across the driveway. Isn't he just the cutest thing ever? We are so lucky to have these. This is the larval stage of the Isabella tiger moth, and they are really, really cool because in a lot of parts of the country, caterpillars that have these little hairs on it, they're either poisonous somehow or venomous. I'm not sure. But anyway, not good if they get under your skin, or they're urticating, which means that they can kind of shoot those hairs out or they get embedded in your skin and they're really irritating, kind of like the urticating hairs on a stinging nettle. But we are lucky the woolly bears don't have that issue. And one other thing that's super cool about woolly bears, just one more thing. This is so cool. So they end up hatching out and they are in their larval stage in the fall. And they actually overwinter in their larval stage as this caterpillar. And they have something in them, and it's a cryoprotectant, I think is what it's called. And there's a number of different animal or critters that can do this, but it makes it so that they actually don't die when they freeze. Their little bodies actually freeze over the winter. And then when it thaws out, they come back to life almost magically, but they have this cryoprotectant in them. I'm not quite sure what it is. In some animals, it's glycerol. In some animals, it's a glucose. But anyway, cool woolly bear. I'm going to go set him free so that we can have an Isabella tiger moth out there flying around. And they eat almost anything, so they live all over the world. Super cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to finish up with a song again from, this is a traditional Quaker song, and it comes along with a lot of other great folk music in Rise Up Singing book. I'm sure you can get a used one for $1 somewhere. It's been around for many years. Rain's about to start coming down, so I'm going to just keep the guitar under cover. This is Kim's grandfather's old guitar, and it's absolutely the best I'd ever had. It was amazing. And it's, well, you just have to pull things off if you're worried about it. Again, please go to the link in the text if you'd like to donate to help keep our staff employed during this social distancing springtime. And I really want to thank all the people who donated over the last 24 or 48 hours. Just incredible friends from way back. As a matter of fact, my very first wolf camper that ever went to a very first wolf camp, day camp, and did lessons after school. Tony, it was amazing. I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, so thank you all. And put some comments of ideas you'd like us to do. And also, I'd like you to join us this coming week for some wildlife tracking adventures and tree planting. We'll show you how to do that, all sorts of things. You can just look at it in notes and make comments. It goes like this. By the way, I used to teach at the Whatcom Hills Waldorf School in Bellingham, and this was their school song. Sing it every morning, pretty much. Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be shamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. Such an important song now, where we have to kind of live more simply, except for all those healthcare workers out there. Thank you for being on the front lines of this crisis, everybody. You can support them, please do. The rest of us who have to live more simply in order to help it go away sooner and to make it more easy on the hospitals, simplifying their life. Let's do that. Push the clothes on there. When true liberty is found, by fear and by hate we will no longer be bound. In life and love we will find a new birth, in peace and freedom beneath the earth. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in a place just right, till we in the valley of love and delight. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, in its streets, its slums, as well as stars above. Salvation is here, where we laugh, where we cry, where we seek and love, where we live and die. Sing it if you know it. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in a place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, and by turning we come round right. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. Be well, everybody. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good idea.